a video on making homemade ricotta. It's not ricotta in the truest sense, um, but ricotta-ish, let's call it ish. So, about 2.5 litres of milk, whole milk, needs to have a fat content because the fat content is what's going to give us the highest yield of ricotta. So if you used a skimmed milk, you would get actually less ricotta. And as skimmed milk and whole milk is the same price, you're best off using whole milk so you get a higher yield of ricotta. Bring it up to the boil, and then turn the heat off. It's got a bit of foam on the top of it, so we'll just get rid of that foam out of the way. And then what we're going to do is we're basically going to make the same process as cheese. So we're going to curdle the milk, and the curdling process today we're going to use vinegar, but you can use lemon juice if you want, but I always think vinegar is cheaper than lemon juice, and I'm all about the cheapness, and it doesn't really affect it any kind of way. So as long as you're using a clear vinegar, so I'm using apple cider vinegar, but a white wine vinegar, a malt vinegar, that's a clear one, not the like brown malt vinegar, but just something clear and vinegary. So for 2.5 litres of milk, you need about 2 tablespoons of vinegar or lemon. So the heat's off. We just need to stir the vinegar in, put the lid on the pan, and leave it for 20 minutes, and what will happen is the vinegar will curdle the milk, and then we are going to strain out the curds from the whey. Is it started already? No, it's not started already. But we'll just leave it 20 minutes, half an hour. It'll be fine, and it'll naturally curdle, and then we can filter out the curds from it, and then we'll make some ricotta-ish. It's not proper ricotta. Proper ricotta is made from the whey that's left over from mozzarella, probably a better pronunciation, and so it's a way of utilising curds that are still present in the whey from making mozzarella. So we're not doing that, so you can't really call it ricotta because it's not proper ricotta. But anyway, I might not even be right on that, to be honest. I'm just throwing things out there. Anyway, so we'll leave that, and we'll come back when it has split into curds and whey. 20 minutes, half an hour later, and I don't know if you can really see, but the milk has split into curds and whey. So what we need to do is this is just some thin muslin cloth, done 3 layers of it, and this is going to catch the curds, and then the whey is going to pass through into the container underneath. I think that the curds aren't looking very clear. The whey isn't looking very clear. We might be able to boil it up again and get a little bit more curds out of it. So, simple process, try not to make a mess of things. We don't want to strain it too much because ricotta we want to be kind of quite wet. So we don't want to strain it too much. You can always add a little bit of the whey back to it, but we just need to strain out some of the water. I'm knocking the camera, it's not the best. I should have done this somewhere else instead on top of the cooker. But there we go, but you get the idea. Strain it like that, and then you can hear the whey passing through the cheesecloth, muslin cloth, and collecting in the container below, and then we'll be left with the curds in the top of there. So we just need to carry on doing it, letting it pass through. Probably should have used a big container, but there you go, you get the idea. Like that. You can see how lumpy it is. And essentially we're making cheese. You could take these curds and you could process it and turn it into whatever cheeses you kind of wanted. So, but we're going to be making ricotta today, and I'm going to use that in something else. So, let that strain. I'll do the rest of it as well, and then we'll come back and we'll have a look at the curds, and we'll turn them. Well, they already are ricotta, but we'll then be the next step until the whey is strained out of it. The ricotta has been draining, so as you can see, it's thickened up a lot, and we're left with the curds in here and the whey underneath. Well, the whey's not underneath because the whey is not particularly clear. It still looks like it's got some milk proteins in it. So I'll put it in the back in a pan, and we're going to give it heat, and we might just get a few more curds out of that, which essentially is the curds that we get from that. It's proper ricotta, because I'm sure ricotta means twice boiled. I'm sure, I think, or something along those lines. So anything that the curds that we get out of that will actually be proper ricotta, whereas this basically is just curd cheese. So it's a little bit lumpy. So we're going to give it a mix, and we've got lots of moisture out of it. But I might need to get more moisture out of it. So what I'm thinking is I will have to hang it up in a cheesecloth overnight, just to kind of get it drier. But you will see, I think this will be dry enough for the kind of ricotta that you buy. Just need to flop that out into there. Looks disgusting. Looks like emptying a baby's nappy, to be honest. Anyway, so that there. Just need to scrape out this curd here, and then we'll give it a mix with the mixer, and I'll weigh. So it was 2.5 litres, so as you can see it makes quite a lot of ricotta. So, but we'll just see. I'll weigh it, and so we'll get a kind of rough idea of how many grams of ricotta you get for how many litres of milk. We don't want to waste all that. Like that. I had to do two things with it, two muslin cloths, because they're squeeze all that away into there, because there was too much for one. But anyway, right, so mixer, just get caught up in all the wires, and we'll just give it a mix, and then it will get to a nice consistency. There we go, homemade ricotta. It's too thin for what I want. I want it a bit thicker for the dish I'm going to cook tomorrow. But as you can see, easy peasy, homemade ricotta. Use it for anything you like. I'm going to do something with it. I'm going to thicken it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in the cloth, leave it overnight, and get rid of some more of that whey moisture out of it. So I'll wait at this stage, and then you know kind of how much ricotta you get for 2.5 litres, and how much whey and all that kind of stuff, and then I will do the same kind of processes again to get it. I want it about twice as thick as that, so we need to get rid of like half the water in that. So I'll just simply put it back into the muslin cloth and leave it overnight. Just the same process again. This works with loads of things. So if you want to thicken up yogurt, this is exactly the same procedure that you use to thicken up yogurt as well. So that in there. Leave it in the fridge overnight, and more whey will come out of it. But there you go, homemade ricotta. And oh no, we're going to do that as well. But I'll pause, and then we'll see about what's going to happen with the whey, because you don't need to see whey boiling, do you? Right, so it has come up to temperature, so we'll add another tablespoon of vinegar, and we'll see if we can get some more curds out of it. Yes, there we go, we have more curds. Turn off. You don't want to cook them. You don't have to do this. Sorry, you don't have to do this. What you can do is you can then just use the whey for other things. I will do something with it. I'm going to save the whey and we'll use it for something else. But there we go. There's certainly a few more curds in there, so we'll be able to do something with those. So same process again. Using the same cheesecloth. I'm not going to wash it, I can't be bothered. It's clean enough. and I'm only at home, so I'll have to do it off camera. There we go. We'll have some more curds, and I'll do something with the whey that's collected underneath. Yeah, I'll save it. I'll do something with it. I'm not going to do it now, but certainly not waste it. It's got lots of uses. Anyway, that's it. That's homemade ricotta, and I'll show you the next part of the video will be just the thicker version of the ricotta. Maybe it's not ricotta because I've thingamajigged it. I have soured it, so I'm not entirely sure. I might do research. Is it real ricotta? I better Google. But anyway, that's it for the moment. Right, the ricotta has been hanging in the fridge overnight in the cloth, and as you can see, it's firmed up tremendously. So that was the whey that came out of it, and there's 200 grams. So depending on how firm you want your ricotta, we can see what the recipe is going to be. So I wanted it quite firm, but I think there'll be about 800 grams here. Carefully, try not to make a mess of everything. There we go. 750 grams. So, and there'll be a bit of whey in there as well. So we'll squeeze that out. Yeah, so there'll be about 50 grams worth of weight there. So about a kilo. Depending on how firm you want your ricotta, is how much you're going to get. So there is, if you want it really firm, there's from 2.5 litres of milk, there's going to be about 750 grams of firm ricotta. If you want it slightly wetter, you're going to get about a kilo of ricotta from 2.5 litres of full fat milk. You'll get less ricotta from skimmed milk, and then the super skimmed milk you'll get even less because there's not as much fat in there. You're not going to get as much curds. So obviously, I always recommend using full fat milk. It's the same price. You're getting much more flavour for value. So that's homemade ricotta. We'll just run the whisk through it so you can kind of see what kind of consistency we've got. But that's a nice thick consistency that I'm going to use in something this afternoon. So sweet or savoury, homemade ricotta. It's dead easy if you've got some milk that needs using up. I know for a fact my mum has a habit of putting milk in the freezer just in case you can't get to the shops. If you find yourself wanting to empty the freezer and you've got a load of frozen milk in there, or cream or anything like that, you can turn it into ricotta and make use of it rather than having to throw it away. But there you go, homemade ricotta, dead easy, give it a go.